Hi guys, Natasha Devon took a call from a woman who was deeply confused. She claimed that, I believe she claimed that, the Conservative Party is actually a communist party, that the Tory government is not centre-right, but communist. What was her reasoning? Well, perhaps reasoning isn't the word. Well, people can't do what they want, and because they don't rebel or protest like they do, for example, in the USA. This was pretty unhinged. Have a listen.
And it's just not like the way that we perceive it over here.
Okay.
You know, they're so patriotic, and they won't tolerate, like, the communist way that we have our government run us. So that it will.
What? Sorry, you think the British government is communist?
Yeah, I do, yeah. I think
what,
that we
what
have
are you
no
basing
say
that
in
on?
anything.
What are you basing that on, Marie?
Because we don't have no say on anything at all.
You don't have any say on anything at all. So Rishi Sunak is a communist because you don't have any say on anything at all. Maybe she's confusing communism with authoritarianism. Well, let's continue.
What do you think communist means? What's the definition of the word communist?
Well, obviously, in a communism country, you're not allowed to travel, and you know.
What? What's the definition of communism? Well, because you live in a communism country. Not a communist country, but a communism country, and you're not allowed to travel. Now, I'm not an expert on communism. I generally believe what it means is that you, the state, own the means of production and own all the property in the country. But it's nothing to do with travel. I don't know where she's getting this from.
But I'm not on to questions about my knowledge of communism.
Well, no, don't. We don't want to know your knowledge of communism. Mine is pretty poor, but I imagine yours is even worse than that.
You were the one who used the word, Marie, and it's actually about distribution of wealth. Do you know how wealth is distributed under a communist regime?
Well, yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that we have no decisions here. We have no say in anything. What we're told, we do.
Okay, I think we've got to the core problem here. It's not about communism, it's about deference. See, the problem, I believe, in the United Kingdom is that there is a strict class system. There's the upper class and there's everyone else. Now, you know, we generally divide the everyone else into middle class or upper middle class or working class or whatever. No, it's generally the owner class, upper class, and everyone else. And there has been, and this class system has been reinforced for centuries. And the idea behind it, of course, is that the upper class deserve that. They deserve to have everything. And if you're born into it, you will remain there. It doesn't matter about how much money you have, but you will remain in that class bubble. And you will never fall down into the working class, and the working class will never make it up to the upper class. It's a closed system. And, you know, and it's reinforced with this idea that, for example, people like Jacob Rees-Mogg is better than his cleaner or his nurse or his nanny or the person who comes around and cleans his house or whatever. Because of who he is, because he has a funny accent and he went to a private school, and because his parents, I believe, or one of them anyway, came from the same system. And this is reinforced, and it allows people like Boris Johnson to get away with terrible crimes that ordinary people who are from a different class would never dream of getting away with. This is the problem. So deference is the problem. Nothing to do with communism.
If the pension age rises, it rises. You know, we would never revolt, and we would just accept everything.
And how does that differ in the Well, how does that differ in the States?
Because other countries are not like that. So in America, they wouldn't tolerate that. They won't.
I'm sorry, but in America, they tolerate a lot of stupid stuff. No offense to Americans, but for example, the people who marched in support of Donald Trump in January 2021, I think it was, a lot of these people risk going bankrupt because of medical bills. they should be campaigning and marching for Medicare for all, for universal health care. But they thought it was more important, or they believe it's more important, to march in support of the dear leader who lost an election. Donald Trump doesn't give a crap about any of these people individually, but they were willing to put their lives on the line for him. But they wouldn't sign a petition or campaign, for example, for something that's much more important, like universal health care. Now, there are communities in the United States that look after each other. I'm not saying it's all like that, but there is this rugged individualism, this pull yourself up from your bootstraps, the American dream that anyone who starts off with nothing can become the richest man or woman in the country, or the president eventually. No, it's similar to the UK in a way, but it's more to do with money. If you're born with money, you'll be okay. If you haven't, well, you're pretty much frigged.
Won't tolerate it's just going to make him more popular. It's just going to make Donald Trump more popular.
What has this got to do with communism in Britain?
All of this, and he's really popular over there anyway. They absolutely love him. It's not the way that we perceive it over here.
What do you mean they love him? Some people love him. Not everyone loves him. Otherwise, he would have won the election last time.
So you think that Trump increased people's individual freedom to challenge the laws of the land?
I don't think he increased it, no, but I don't think that they live in the society that we live in here. They're very patriotic and they believe in the freedom of the country. And
we're not going to get a definition of patriotism, but for me, patriotism is looking after everyone within the nation, making sure that nobody goes hungry, nobody's cold, that everyone has a roof over their head. That if it's necessary to take money from the people who have lots of money and distribute it to people who don't have anything, because it's good for the nation, it's good for the country, it's good for society, I call that patriotism. Making sure that no child goes hungry. For me, that's patriotism. In the US, it seems to be something more about images, flags, the national anthem, placing your hand over your heart and singing a song. Caring about the troops, honouring the troops. These things seem to be more important than looking after your fellow man, woman and child. This was a very strange call. A very confused call, I should add. But I don't know. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.